All right, we're live. What's good, everybody? While I restring my guitar, I thought we would talk about how to keep your creative momentum going between projects. I have questions here. There's my dog Pickle. He wants to go for a stroll. If I say the W word, he can't handle it. I forgot my string winder. Bear with me 1 second. I'm sorry. How rude. All right, we're back. So I have a list of questions I'm going to go through, and hopefully that'll inspire people out here who are creative, who sometimes find themselves losing momentum. And the beats you hear in the background are my beats. So, how has consistently releasing music every 2 weeks impacted your creative process? Because I'm coming up on 1 year of consistently releasing music every 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it'll be 1 year. How has it impacted my creative process? It's forced me to accept my music to be done when it isn't perfect. Like the artist Nick D says, done is better than perfect, and that's so true. So consistently releasing music every 2 weeks has impacted my creative process by forcing me to accept that done is better than perfect. And also, that muscle gets stronger. You get better at making the smart creative decisions to create an amazing song in a short amount of time, the more you do it. Yeah, there was periods, we'll get into it, there's more questions, but there was a lot of time where I was stressing in the beginning, or maybe using a song that I had already recorded, which is totally fine too. But the benefits totally outweighed any of the cons. I know that's controversial. There's some people that say you shouldn't release music that much, but the growth I've gotten from it has been more beneficial than like my other lifetime experience of being a musician since I was 3. So this has been like my favorite experiment, and also the most beneficial for sure. What strategies have helped me maintain a creative momentum between releases? Just being really passionate about the music that I make. Don't make music because you think someone else wants you to make it that way. When you have people that love your music, it's important to pay attention to what they like, and if you care about them, give them cool stuff, but don't make music from a place that isn't authentically you. So, strategies that have helped me maintain a creative momentum between releases has been, I want to make sure I got my train of thought back. Sorry. This is live, baby. So strategies that have helped me maintain a creative momentum between releases, definitely fitness, definitely things that aren't really necessarily related to my music, but like allowing myself to do other things that aren't music related. The most important one is a steady fitness schedule. Waking up and exercising, which is, in other words, like forcing myself to do something I don't want to do. It makes everything easier. And it certainly makes it easier when there's days when I have to create and I don't really want to. I'm like, yo, you just ran, 4 miles up a huge hill. You can sit here and come up with 16 rhyming sentences, How do you avoid burnout while constantly creating and releasing new music? You have to love it. I think that's what I was about to touch on when I went silent for a second. I avoid burnout while constantly creating and releasing new music by loving it. I love the music I put out, and I get excited to create content because every single time it's a lottery ticket of more people discovering my music, and I think that's really cool. Like, if you really love your music, you're gonna want to try everything you can for it to reach more people. And I make it abundantly clear how grateful I am for the people that support my content, and I will continue to indefinitely. But I avoid burnout by not investing my time in something I don't absolutely love. I absolutely love music, and what's my goal with music? To get it to reach more people. So what am I going to do? I'm going to fall in love with the entire process of how to do that. And that's how I avoid burnout. I don't know. And then back to the exercise. I discovered the exercise late in life. I've always done exercise, but when I really made it a disciplined daily thing, I'm on year 4 of it. That's how I avoid burnout, because it's at least 1 hour every day where I'm not doing music. Those are my answers off the top of my head. Do I find that deadlines inspire my creativity, or do they add pressure? How do I balance that? They inspire my creativity, because I also keep in mind the history of music, and the history of music, whether it was an artist or a label or a group of songwriters. You got to be on a deadline. You got to get the songs done and put them out. And once you accept that, it becomes really fun. Yeah, so I love the deadline. The deadline inspires my creativity, because I'm at the point now where, now I've been making music and producing music for a long time, so I did have years where I made trash. I'm at the point now where every time I sit down, I'm going to make a really good song, right? And so the deadlines help me, because every week I get excited. Oh, I wonder what song I'm going to make. I wonder, I don't even know. And so the deadlines, there's just a lot of added bonuses. How has your creative mindset evolved over the past year? My creative mindset has evolved is that now I always remind myself to think of the music first, because I do love the music the most. But now, without having to think, as the songs coming together, the videos in my head, or the content strategies are in my head. Basically, if anyone's just tuning in, I'm about at 1 year of releasing a song every 2 weeks, and it's been very beneficial. And my creative mindset has evolved over this past year. But with those reasons, and let me think of a couple more. Because I'm thinking in video and audio without having to think about it. It just comes natural. And also my creative mindset has evolved. I said at the beginning, the artist that really pioneered content with music is Nick D and Connor Price and those guys. But my creative mindset has evolved by quoting them, done is better than perfect, and really accepting that. Because not only does done better than perfect help you finish something, but it also is an optimistic way to encourage you that sometimes that thing you created real quick is not only good enough, it's great. A great song doesn't have to have a doctorate in music in order for it to be great. A great song doesn't need a lifelong musician that can, sight read music in order for it to be a great song. And that's all I got to say about that. Let's go on to the next question. What daily habits or routines have helped you stay in a creative flow between projects? I said daily fitness, making time to have fun, making it habitual to work on the stuff that's less fun than creating, and finding ways to be excited. Over the last year, I forced myself, every time I'm creating content now, if I get stressed out or it stops being fun, I stop and I find a way to make it more fun and less stressful. And so that habit has really helped. And you can apply that in life too. You're having a shitty day and then you get stuck in traffic and it's this is terrible, but it's how can I make this fun? And in my case, maybe all right, I'm stuck in traffic, but now I can memorize lyrics in my head. It's just so little habits and creative mindsets that I learned in this creative process that I can apply to life. That's been really cool. Let's go to another question. How do you find inspiration for new music when you're already juggling multiple projects? That's a good question, because I am blessed to be working with other artists. The way I actually, just that. So the question again, how do you find inspiration for new music when you're already juggling so many projects? When I am signed on to produce, co-produce, or co-write with another artist, my focus is on that role. It's not on me. It's on the role that I was hired to do. And in that time, I can't think about me, which is fine. So to answer the question, how do I find inspiration for new music when I'm already juggling multiple projects? Because when I'm in one project, I give it all my focus. And when that project's done, I'm excited to do another one because it's different. And that's how I am able to keep my inspiration going. Because I'm blessed to work with artists in different genres, and my stuff doesn't stick to one genre. So it's very easy. And sometimes finding inspiration is like not creating music for a couple days. Nothing wrong with that. Like focusing on another aspect of music, whether it's business or emails or social media, that's just as important as playing music, in my opinion. So just putting your energy towards what it wants to go to at that moment. Have you ever felt like you hit a creative wall during the process? How do you overcome it? Absolutely yes. Now I walk away and do something else. If I'm not on a deadline, like if the deadline isn't at the end of the day and I hit a creative wall, I just go on to something else. If the deadline is at the end of the day, you just got to push through it. But let me answer that question better. That's kind of, have you ever felt like you hit a creative wall during this process, and how did you overcome it? Yeah, I've done it the wrong way, where I sat in front of speakers until my head hurt, trying to get a good idea, and then I can't sleep, and I didn't sleep for 40 hours. And I don't know if I regret that because all that stuff made me who I am, but it never solved that creative wall problem. Walking away is always the answer, but for me, but when I hit a creative wall. But when I hit a creative wall, walking away doesn't always mean walking away from music. It just may mean walking away from that. What do I have a creative block with? I have a creative block with writing lyrics right now? Okay, well then there's no excuse why you can't make beats. I have a creative block with making beats right now? Okay, well there's no excuse why you can't make a couple social media videos right now. I have a block. I don't know what social media videos are. All right, well there's no reason why you can't YouTube some of your weaknesses and learn something. There we go. Let's get to another question. This guitar, I don't need to clean it. Sorry I'm not responding up here. I'm trying to answer these questions while I restring this. Thank you to anybody that's tuning in. These questions are based on how to keep your creative momentum going between projects. I'm about 1 year of answering I'm about 1 year of answering. I'm about 1 year of releasing a song every 2 weeks, and I'm just sharing some of my thoughts. How do you manage the technical aspects of musical production without losing your creative spark? Think about that question again. How do I lose... Wait, I lost it. How do I manage the technical aspects of music production without losing my creative spark? I just prioritize the song, and more specifically, the completion of the song. I don't get overwhelmed by the technical things I don't know, and I never did. It's all about what sounds good. Especially now, since we're working on computers, turn a knob. Even if you don't know what a compressor is, turn the knob. How's it make the sound? Is it cooler or is it less cool? If it's cooler, turn it again. So that's how I manage the technical aspects. And over time, you start to learn what the knobs do, even if you don't know the terms. And I would suggest you eventually get to learn the terms. And another way that I manage technical aspects of musical production without losing my creative spark is to educate myself. YouTube. Look up stuff I don't know. Look up stuff I need to learn better. What role does intuition play in your creative decision-making process? Intuition is everything in the creative process. When I was young, I trusted my intuition, and my songs always came out great, and people loved them, and I was still developing and learning stuff, and I would get in my head saying, well, I didn't record that with an expensive microphone. How could you possibly love this song? It was recorded with a $50 microphone, not thinking that the power of the song is more important than the equipment. So to summarize that one, because that's an important one, intuition plays a huge creative process, because I was stunned for a while I chose to keep learning, because I would get stuck on knowing that the technical quality could be better or with better equipment, but I kept realizing like I could redo this song with better equipment, but it doesn't mean that recording that day is going to be better than the recording of the song I recorded in our apartment above a pizza shop when I was buying Lucy's from the coffee shop for 25 cents. You know, you can't replicate the energy even with any equipment. So trusting the intuition in that moment when I wrote a song and recorded it, it captured more than just the sounds you hear. It captures the energy, and that's important. And now I'm back on that wave. I've been for a couple years, trusting the energy, trusting the intuition rather than seeking like, you know, $1 million studio with a $10,000 microphone. All right, next question I have here. Let's see. How do you ensure that each song you release feels fresh and inspired, even when working on a tight schedule? Anyone that's just tuning in, I'm about at 1 year of releasing a new song every 2 weeks, and I'm just sharing what I've learned, how to keep your creative momentum going between projects. And let's see. I keep losing where I'm at. I'm sorry. How do I ensure that each song I release feels fresh and inspired, even when working on a tight schedule? I'll be honest, to me that didn't come easy, and that did not come in the past year. I think you just gotta seriously fall in love with music. You gotta fall in love with creating music. You gotta fall in love with the idea that it's just gonna be your life forever. And like, to be honest, I felt so in love with music that I forgot that I could look forward to getting better. And that was key for me. Because when I was younger, I don't think that I could have released a song every 2 weeks and felt fresh and inspired. So I don't want to confuse people, but I'm not saying it's impossible. It took me a long time. Maybe you watching this will help you save some time, and it won't take you as long. But yeah, I didn't know how to stay fresh and inspired when I was younger. But I was creating beats 24/7, but I wasn't taking time every morning to go running outside, walk my dogs, take a break, breathe fresh air. Like I actually got diagnosed this year with a vitamin D deficiency. I spent so much time in the studio with a blackout curtains that I actually deprived myself of so much light, I made myself sick. So being fresh and inspired is like also getting away. And I'm not one, I don't know, that's a tough one, because I say that now, but I don't regret all the time that I put in. I'm just sharing thoughts. These aren't answers. Maybe they'll inspire someone. Next question. What lessons have you learned about maintaining creative energy while balancing content creation and music production? What lessons have I learned about maintaining creative energy while balancing content creation and music production? The lessons I've learned about maintaining creative energy while balancing content creation and music production are, honestly, falling in love with all of it. It sounds so cliche, but like as an artist, like if I know a lot of musicians, especially, that complain they have to make content, but like you're already limiting yourself by complaining that you have to make content. Why does it have to be something you hate? Why can't it be something you love? You know what I mean? Why? The content's essential for me to make money, to get my music out there. Yeah, but no one's saying it has to be something you hate. You're limiting yourself right away. So, the way I maintain creative energy while balancing content creation and music production is, that's a loud car or something, is when it gets unfun and too stressful, like I turn away. And that doesn't mean that I don't practice. Practicing is different, rehearsing is different, you know, but with creating, you know, unless you're trying to capture a song about pain and turmoil, there's no reason to put yourself through pain and turmoil for every song while you're making it. Look at that face. That face is to me because I'm the one that freaking that put myself through pain and turmoil for so long. And who am I, right? I'm just one guy. I got a couple cool things on my resume as a producer and artist, but I'm no one. I just want to inspire other people. All right, next question. Anyone that's just tuning in, thank you. I'm sorry that I can't really see what's up there. I really am restringing my guitar, and I know I don't have a head block here. I'm sorry, guitar experts. For what it's worth, I have been playing guitar my whole life, and I am a session guitarist, but I am breaking all the rules right now. I'm sorry. This is live. F it. We'll do it live. I'm answering questions how to keep your creative momentum going between projects. I'm currently at 1 year of releasing a song every 2 weeks. I'm just sharing what I learned. I'm just one guy, right? Maybe it'll inspire you. Always trust your gut vision at the end of the day. Let other people inspire you and teach you, but, you know, trust yourself. All right, next question. Do you have, wait, where are we at? What lessons have you learned? Yeah. How do you fuel your creativity after finishing a project? For me, it's working on the content and finding a way to create content I enjoy and that I'm proud of. Again, that's not something, I know that's so cliche advice, and that I'm just reaching the point where I enjoy the content I make, but I've enjoyed it the whole time. And like, I was just enjoying L after L, no views after no views, and you know, and now it's starting to work, and I'm enjoying it, and I refuel my creativity after finishing a project by working on something else that's essential. Like I finished a song of mine last night, production-wise, and so today I didn't go into the studio and write. I'm working on content. I'm streaming live. I have to restring my guitar anyway because I have a session guitar project tomorrow I have to do where I get like commissioned to do guitar and synth work on other people's songs. So I refuel my creativity by working on other aspects of the creative job. Let's see. Do you have any rituals or practices that help you transition between projects smoothly? Rituals or practices that help me transition between projects smoothly? I do need to refresh my brain. Like sometimes it's seriously a 10-minute nap. Sometimes it's like scrolling on the internet for 10, 20 minutes. Sometimes it's going outside with my dogs. I just kind of need to step away for a couple minutes, 10 minutes. And if that question is in regards to like between projects in one day, but again, if it's between projects, between like a song release now and then a song release in 2 weeks, I mean, there's so many things that I can get excited about, like, you know, trying to create viral content, which is exciting for my current song release. Plus, every day, all of my other songs, I have the chance to create fun content that's fun for me that could make my songs pop off. So it's just like every week another song is added to the lottery of, you know, growing my audience. And that's exciting. Okay, next question. How do you approach collaboration when you're in a rapid release cycle? I'm going through this now. Shout out Chima Anya. I'm really lucky to collaborate with an amazing artist from the UK. And how I approach it is I am so honored to collaborate with other talented people. You tell me what's best for you. And I'm really okay with that. You know, like, what's best for you? What works with your schedule? To be honest, right now, I'm really flexible, and I'd like to keep it that way. Like I'm a musician, a producer, an engineer, an artist. So my stuff, unless I'm choosing to hire someone that's better than me, which is possible sometimes, but I've worked really hard to be able to produce and mix my own stuff my whole life, you know. So I really have a lot of control over when my stuff is finished, when I can release my stuff. So I'm really flexible. So to bring it back to that question, how do I approach collaboration when I'm in a rapid release cycle? I let the collaborator decide. You know, you're not going to collaborate with someone you don't respect. And in my case, like, you pick it. What are you comfortable with? And that's how I've been approaching it. And that's how I've always approached it. Has the pressure of consistent releases forced you to think outside the box creatively? How? Has the pressure of consistent releases forced you to think outside the box creatively, and how? Yes, 100% it has forced me to think outside the box creatively. With the pressure of having to release consistently every 2 weeks, you know, I reach a point sometimes where I'm like, all right, I only have a few days left before I would have to register it for distribution and get it on Spotify and Apple and stuff. I need to go with something, you know? So I might like just force myself to, all right, here we go. Here different ways I brainstorm song topics. I will think of sayings. I just heard a recent one recently online. This is not my idea, but it's a great one. I think it was maybe off of Producer Grind on Instagram. Take a cliche and reverse it, you know. So like, you know what I mean? What's a good cliche? Why can't I think of one? I can't think of one cliche. Yeah, let's use the freaking internet right now. Oh my gosh, I spelled cliche wrong. There we go. Oh. Barking up the wrong tree, or let's see, diamond in the rough. So like, diamond in the smooth, frighten to death, frighten to life. Right, there you go, frighten to life. There. So like, again, that's not my idea. But taking a cliche and reversing it. Other outside the box things I do, ways I think of song titles is I'll think of current events, what's going on currently, and then I'll extract the main topics into like, I prefer not, none of my music really taps that deep into political stuff. But like, even if it was a political thing, I would be like, all right, well, what's the issue they're at? And I'll break it down and then make it like a universal topic. What's a good example of that? Or like, I remember being really down one day and just like, this is insane. I'm sacrificing everything. And I was like, oh my God, that's going to be a chorus. And that was the song that actually went in the Logan Paul's vlog about me. So just thinking outside the box. Anything and everything can be a song. And even me still, as recently as like over the summer, I had what you would consider to be writer's block, or just like a tougher time coming up with an idea in the moment, you know. But you can come up with an idea at any time. It all comes down to how you're looking at things, you know. Like, you mean a song about this case to this wrench to fix my guitar, you know. I'm on a hard place right now. There you go. There's a song title. I'm in a hard place. Like, how'd you come up with that? Were you going through tough times? No, like, my wrench was on the table. That's a weird example, but that's thinking outside the box. Or last year around Christmas time, I made a song called Green Christmas, and I'm a patient in Pennsylvania, and you know, so I was able to do some cool double entendre stuff visually while keeping it rated G, from thinking outside the box. All right, next question. Anyone that's just tuning in, I release a song every 2 weeks. I'm sorry I can't see the questions up there. I'm restringing my guitar and thought I would share some things I've learned about releasing a song every 2 weeks. Next question I have is, how do I handle moments when the creative ideas just aren't flowing? Actually, I've only been able to answer this question recently, and that is when creative ideas aren't flowing and I have to get through the moment and have an idea, when the answer can't be walk away, what I do is I force myself especially vocally. Say real words. We're beyond the point where if we're out of time where we can't just do a gibberish version, come back. We have to finish it. Just trust that you complete something. Complete something, and there's a chance I might like it at the end. But sitting there and doing nothing is going to guarantee that I'm not going to like it at the end. So when I handle moments when the creative ideas aren't flowing and I don't have time to walk away, I force myself, create something, finish it, and at least I'm going to have something and there's a chance I might like it. And that sounds like such a silly answer, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to just not finish something. Because you get caught up on the first word and it's like, keep going, finish it. All right, next question. What's the role of experimentation in keeping your creativity alive between projects? What's the role of experimentation in keeping your creativity alive between projects? Honestly, it just happens full time for me. I just don't stay bound to one genre. And therefore, what am I saying? The role of experimentation in keeping my creativity alive between projects is always be experimenting. Is that a dumb answer? I mean, I think in order to get to the point where you're experimenting without really having to consciously remember, like, oh yeah, experiment, is just make songs. Make songs, have fun, but always make songs, finish songs, put songs out. If you're a performer, perform. Finish things, put it out. And I just restrung my guitar upside down because I've been streaming live, not paying the frick attention. I've been playing the guitar for 20 years. I've never done that. How do I even do that? Ugh. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever done. Oh, man. All right, well, how many minutes has that been? That's a new record of dumbness for me. I feel like I should stop there. Let's do one more. All right, or we can keep going. I guess we can keep going. I got to take all this off now. I can't believe I did that. Could I look less like I know what I'm talking about after doing a mistake like that? But you know what? That's me being vulnerable, baby. I have never done something so stupid in my entire life. I don't even know how I achieved such an idiotic feat. Wow. All right, well, my attention is blown, but I think we got some good value. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. All right, maybe I won't end this stream since I just made an idiot out of myself, but I do need to get more strings. Oh my gosh, that is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Let me go get more strings. I've never done something so dumb in my life. Wow. All right, well, let's just move on. Sorry for that. And sorry I'm not even able to really read all the comments at the moment, but thank you for tuning in. I'd rather keep capturing my shame and embarrassment over that. How are you going to believe this guy now? He just restrung his guitar backwards. I got my new laptop here, 2 freaking cameras in front of me. What do you expect, eh? Expect me to do things right and teach it like I'm like some sort of freaking teacher or something? All right, back to the dang questions here. Sorry. Sheesh. Now I got to unstring my stupid guitar. Gosh, that's the dumbest. I haven't done something that dumb in a really long time. All right, okay, let's move on. How do you handle momentum? We got that question. What's the role of experimentation? How do you balance taking creative risks? How do I balance taking creative risks with ensuring to meet your release dates? That's a good one. How do I Balance taking creative risks with ensuring you meet your release deadlines. That's easy. You're releasing a song every 2 weeks. Shoot every freaking shot. And then, like, one way that I'll get really creative within the deadline is like, all right, well, for a bridge in this song I'm working on, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want. And I did that with my song that's coming out this Friday. The bridge is just whatever the heck I wanted. And, it may be only 4, 6, 8 bars, but it's whatever the heck I wanted to. So it's my creative risk fitting into the guidelines or the list of things I need to get done of releasing music and stuff. So creative risks are every day, as many as I can take. And then with the content, same thing. Let's try a pop-up text for this song. Let's try a comedy skit for this song. Let's try behind the scenes for this song. I'll try everything, that doesn't go against my morals. All right, next one. How do I stay creatively excited about each project after releasing so much music over the year? Because you do get better. You start to see growth. I'm going to repeat that question. How do you stay creatively excited about each project after releasing so much music over a year? Because you get better and you start to see growth. And that's what guided me for so long. And then what's even cooler, eventually it might be more than a year, and for some people it's less. People start to like your music. And that is super exciting. So, if you can get used to the discipline and the hard work to get to the point of being good, which is different for everybody, you stay creatively excited about each project because there's so many positives to look at after each release with the right perspective. Even for a song that only got 10 streams, right? You only got 10 streams. But what are the good things about it? Well, it's the first time you wrote a song that was storytelling. There's always ways to look at the negatives that weren't good in what we do, but focus on the positive sometimes. What advice would you give to others looking to keep their creative momentum going, especially when they're feeling stuck? What advice would you give to others looking to keep their creative momentum going, even when you feel stuck? I would say, what's your job? Let's say they say, I work at Starbucks. I'd be like, when's your next shift? Tomorrow. Don't go. I have to go. Why? Because it's my job. Let me ask that question again. What advice do you give other artists looking to keep the creative momentum going, especially when they feel stuck? It is your job, so you're going to feel stuck, and that doesn't mean you can just not do it or quit. And also with YouTube and AI, it's so easy to learn. The biggest thing that I can encourage you is to get into the habit of seriously setting up a trigger system in your head. The second you don't know something, trigger it in your head to be like, I don't know it, let me get the answer. There's no reason why you can't get the answer. Music theory, marketing, music business, songs, music production, any DAW, which is digital audio workstation, whatever you use to record or make beats. There's no excuse why you can't learn it with YouTube and AI. So, stay educated as well. So to tie that all back to that same question, what advice would I give artists looking to keep their creative momentum going, especially when they feel stuck? Stay educated. Remember, it's a job. Stay educated. So maybe you can walk away that day from working on the song, but that doesn't mean you walk away from being a professional. So maybe you spend the next hour or two learning something about production or marketing. So that's the education part. And experimenting. Don't just practice. Like music and art is to gain an audience, is to communicate with an audience. You have to do that part. You have to learn what the people like, and then so I've made the mistake of creating the art and learning, but not sharing with any audience, and then being completely stuck. So create the art, educate yourself, practice, and share it, release it, perform it. You know, that part is important. Okay. How has regularly releasing music influenced your long-term creative goals? How has regularly releasing music influenced your long-term creative goals? It's helped me understand marketing. It's helped me understand storytelling. Regularly releasing music has influenced every aspect of my life. Discipline, like it coincides with fitness. I'm able to relate fitness and music to each other in my own head. Like, some days I don't want to be exercising, but look how proud I am of how healthy I am. And it's like some days I don't want to be maybe writing a song, but what about that song that I love so much that I wrote on the day I didn't want to write it? So releasing music influenced my long-term creative goals by strengthening my discipline, by strengthening my understanding of the feelings I'm having and what they mean in regards to the creative process. That's the most valuable thing I've gotten over the past year, really, is starting to understand the feelings I have during the creative process, and at least for me, what it feels like when I create what I call good art. And what's fascinating is that the art that makes me feel the best is stuff I make that's fun. Even if it's an angry song or a sad song, it was fun to make, and it usually didn't take that long. And that's not the case for every time, but often, like, I'm learning that, like, just having fun and not thinking too much ends up creating the best result. So that's really helped my long-term creative goals, especially once you put in the time as an artist or as whatever you do. Like, I've been playing music my whole life. Doesn't mean I know it all, but like I have reached a certain skill level, and I regularly releasing music has influenced my long-term creative goals by allowing me to trust that sometimes good stuff can happen quick. Like that famous saying, the submarine mechanic came to fix the submarine and whacked a pipe with a wrench and charged them $100,000.50. And they said, "Why did it cost so much money to fix our submarine? All you did was hit that pipe with a wrench." And he said, "Well, it was 50 cents for the wrench and $100,000 for my 20 years of experience to know what pipe to hit." And so regularly releasing music has helped me understand that sometimes the best creative decision may come quick. And that's very helpful. It doesn't mean that just because it came quick that it's any less valuable. But it doesn't mean that sometimes you have to work long and hard. So I hope that inspires someone. How do you know when to give yourself a creative break versus pushing? Great question. I'll say it again. How do you know when to give yourself a creative break versus pushing? For me, by putting myself on a creative deadline, I know I have to get at least X amount of creative things done by X date. So I'll always make sure I do at least. This is terrible advice. No, it's not. It's facts. I set my goals up and I make sure I hit the bare minimum before the due date. And then if I'm really creative, I'll keep creating. And if I need a break, I'll really go hard on content, marketing, emails, everything but the art part. Because, like, all right, I got my art in by the deadline. If I can't think of anything yet, even though I know I have another deadline in another 2 weeks, that's okay. But right now, it ain't happening. But I still met my deadline. So that's when I'll give myself a creative break. Like, if I don't have to push because I just met my deadline, that's usually when the break comes in. Or just schedule the dang break in. All right, next question. All right. What's the biggest challenge you've faced creatively during this year of consistent releases, and how did you overcome it? The biggest challenge was The biggest challenge I faced creatively during this year of consistent releases, and how did I overcome it? I would say getting used to the fact that everything isn't going to be perfect, and I overcame it by now having proof. Some of my most successful content was stuff that I thought stunk, and stuff that I didn't think was good. Or sometimes people will like one of my songs, and I'm like, really, you like that? Like, I hated that. And that has been a challenge that I've overcome. Yeah. Next one. What role does self-reflection play in your creative process between projects? What role does self-reflection play in your creative process during projects? That's a good one. I'm thinking. I'm self-reflecting. What role does self-reflection play in your creative process during projects? What role does self-reflection play? I mean, everything. I guess my self-reflection really comes in usually as soon as I finish a song. I mean, actually, the whole process I'm creating a song, I always have every moment of every song I've ever created in my head going on at the same time. So, like, I just love impressing myself. So self-reflection plays a huge role in my creative process between projects because I'm always trying to impress myself. That's my answer. Self-reflection plays a huge role because I'm always trying to impress myself. All right, next question. We're almost done here. Do you ever revisit older projects for inspiration, or do you always push forward with new ideas? Yes, I do always revisit older projects, and I'm meticulously organized, but I often push forward with new ideas. I love when I can resurrect old ideas, but I've learned by mistake, if I try too hard to bring back an idea that I'm never like super stoked on, but I did it because I felt like I should bring back the idea, it doesn't work out for me as well as when I hear an old idea and it excites me to finish it right there. So yes, the answer is yes. I revisit older projects for inspiration, for sure. But I don't use that as a crutch. Like, if it's like, I need a song by the end of the week, I'm just going to go to an old one. Nah, come on, let's go. You know, but if it's like, oh yeah, this is the extra strength. That's why I've been so confused. Sorry. Okay. So I don't use going to an older song as a crutch. But like if I was sick, like I was a couple weeks ago, you know, I have some songs ready that are basically new. And then, you know, I'll release that until I'm not sick, which doesn't happen often. Okay, next song. Next question. How has the consistent creative output over the past year affected your sense of artistic identity? It has helped greatly. The consistent creative output over the past year that has affected my sense of artistic identity. Sorry, I just want to give you a good answer. By having to by forcing myself on a deadline to release music regularly, it's affected. By releasing music regularly, it's affected my sense of artistic identity by forcing myself to think of interesting things worth saying to say. And again, I made the mistake for years as a younger artist, but I don't regret it, of writing trash and putting out trash. You know, and I didn't even, when I was a young artist, I didn't even think of the idea that at least sometimes when I'm writing a song, I should think about what I'm saying and if it's interesting or how people, you know, what are things that people want to hear about, you know. So constant creative output over the past year has affected my sense of artistic identity because it's forced me to think of interesting things to say and how to say them interestingly. Yeah. All right, we got 3 questions left. I can't believe anyone that's just, I've really been playing guitar my whole life, and I restrung this guitar upside down, string-wise, because I am blaming it on the 3 screens right now, but I cannot believe I did that. I've never done that in my entire life. Wow, I'm gonna blame it on, I got the spirit of Jimi Hendrix in me. All right, what non-musical activities or practices help you stay creative between projects? Exercise, boom. Hanging out with my wife, 2, boom. Prioritizing my wife and my dogs, first, period. And then music, and then exercise. Exercise is huge for me. It just makes me really happy to be me. And that helps me stay creative. I like doing some yard work. We live in the woods. Some stuff I like doing, like blowing leaves. It sounds cheesy, but blowing leaves, shoveling snow. We have a lot of property where snow needs to get shoveled. Taking care of the house, man. Just things that fulfill me, and those are some of them. I don't have many needs. I just want to make as much music as possible without it coming at the sacrifice of those I love. So, next question. We got 2 questions left. How do you nurture creativity when you're not feeling inspired to make music? Good question. How do you nurture creativity when you're not inspired to make music? That's when I start listening to my favorite songs or going to my favorite studio videos. Like, just off the top of my head, anything from Ryan Leslie's studio videos to Pharrell and Chad Hugo in the studio to Pharrell in the studio, Kanye West in the studio, anything from Jay-Z's Fade to Black, Rick Rubin in the studio, Red Hot Chili Peppers in the studio. Studio videos will usually get me out of the not feeling inspired pretty quick. Logic making beats. All right, let's see. What do I got left? 1 question. What's the most surprising thing you've learned about your creative process in the past year? The most surprising thing I've learned about my creative process in the past year is the most surprising thing I've learned about my creative process in the past year is how strong my gut instinct ideas are. When people hire me to write music for them, I give it my heart and soul to them. And I don't sleep. I probably give too much. I don't sleep until it's perfect. It's unhealthy sometimes. But that's how much I care about working for other people when they hire me to do music. And one of the most surprising things I've learned about my creative process this year is how often my gut instinct ideas are right. I've had ideas turned down that I spent an entire weekend on. And then in the same breath, they say, all right, but I love what you did here. It's unbelievable. It's my favorite thing ever. And then I'll be thinking in my head oh my gosh, that took me 13 minutes to make, But I make sure not to tell the artist that because I care about them so much, and I have spent 80 hours on them sometimes for, a 2-minute thing. And sometimes the idea comes quick. And that's why I think it's so important to get over the concept that it's about how much time you invest, But I usually keep it to myself how much time I invest. Positively and negatively, Like I said, sometimes I'll spend 80 hours on something for someone, and maybe they thought it was going to take me 1 hour. But then, sometimes I might spend 10 minutes on something, and it becomes very valuable. So, the most surprising thing, to sum it up one more time, the most surprising thing I've learned about my creative process in the past year is how valuable my gut instinct ideas often are. And I apply that now. I might spend a while making a beat, but then there's always comes a point when I'm making a beat where it's time for live instruments. And now, I've been playing music for a lifetime, but now I'm at the point where in my head I know I got to structure what I'm about to play. for, a standard pop song, whether it's an 8-bar verse, 8-bar hook or 16-bar verse, etc., plus a bridge, maybe a corner change, maybe an intro, maybe an outro. All of that's in my brain at the same time. I'm picking up the instrument for the first time and learning the part, and then at the same time I am choosing to basically essentially improvise all the way through. I'm at the point now instrumentally where often I can do a really good first take, but then at the same time there's times where I might spend 8 hours on writing a guitar part for a verse. But one more time to summarize that last question, the most surprising thing I've learned about my creative process this year is sometimes and often my gut instinct idea is often the best one, because I would doubt it. How can something be good that happened that fast? I mean, don't think that way, right? The Big Bang happened in a flash, if that was the and that happened in a flash. All right, wow. Well, this was a great live stream. I apologize to anyone that commented and I wasn't able to see. I got to work on that, but I wanted to answer these questions, give some value, make myself look really dumb by restringing my guitar upside down. I don't know. I'm going to remember that forever. But all right, we are restrung. We're good now. My throat kind of hurts. Pause. But we're good. I hope everyone enjoyed that. I'm also streaming on TikTok right now and YouTube. So wherever you're not, check me out on the other place if you'd like, or keep viewing where you're at. Usually I would be much more engaging with you all that are supporting me right now in the live. I apologize. I just have 2 dogs and I'm restringing my guitar and I'm real cautious about all the strings and making sure they get right in the trash. I don't play with that. I've been restringing guitars for a long time. Okay, so that is it. I love you all. Stay creative. There's lots of things you can do to do so. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something you want to do. Peace.